For centuries we have pondered over the thought, do ghosts exist? So many have claimed to see ghosts in different guises. Are they real, or are they just a wishful craving on our part to want to believe? The UK, the most haunted country on this planet. But why do ghosts come here? Why do they haunt us? Tonight I've invited 6 paranormal investigation teams to join me to search for the most haunted town in the UK. We're here today in the sleepy town of Crowland, in Lincolnshire, in the heart of the fens. This picturesque town dates back to well before AD 716, when it was known as Crowland, and was referred to by King Ethelbald because of its unique and wondrous bridge that stood in the centre of the town. The town was once separated by waterways, and so this connecting bridge was built, known locally as Trinity Bridge. It is unusual in the fact that it has 3 walkways. Although it was originally made of wood, it was replaced by the monks of Crowland Abbey between the years 1360 to 1390. So that's the town. But what are the 6 locations that our teams are going to investigate tonight? Crowland Abbey, a once busy and active monastery, had its foundation stones laid by King Ethelbald in 716 AD, but has been destroyed on 3 separate occasions throughout its history. Inside the church, displayed in a glass case, is rumoured to be the skull of the abbot Theodore, who was slain at the altar of the monastery in 850 AD, when the Danes invaded. The skull actually shows the mark of the cruel blow that took his life. It was on this occasion that it first fell into ruin. The second and third time it was destroyed by fire. So who or what actually roams the grounds of the abbey here? There's been reports of chants and monk-like singing, ghostly figures of monks walking through. You never know, possibly even the abbot Theodore himself may wander the grounds. Built in 1730, this former coaching house, which has changed its name a couple of times, lays claim to house 2 ghosts. It's claimed that Henry Girdleston, a former employee who used to tether horses of visiting guests here, actually haunts room number 5. And what of the unknown woman that is said to walk along the passageway behind me?
I've seen a lady in this bar who's supposed to haunt the corridor and room 5, and my husband's seen a man. Whether it's the Henry Girdlestone that's supposed to haunt, we don't know.
The Crown, a pub with some very strange things happening. No sooner does the landlord start doing refurbishment work or try to improve the place, the things start to get torn down again. For example, to my right here you see a front bay window. The lounge was refurbished. No sooner was it completed than a car goes banging straight through into it, destroying it. So who or what is actually here, preventing him trying to improve the place?
The departing landlord said to me, "Peter, you'll find some funny things happen around here." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, things disappear. Sometimes there is some damage which you can't account for." He said, "We put it down to the Frank effect." So I said, "Well, what do you mean by the Frank effect?" He said, "Well, there was a previous landlord who apparently drank too much and died here, and his ghost still haunts the premises."
On the outskirts of the town resides Gull Farm. A former employee who was here for over 20 years, who passed in the early 60s, has actually been seen to walk, still roaming this farm, in the building behind me. Back in the 1800s, just outside the farm, on a wet and windy night, a horse and carriage and its occupants hurtled off the road, plunging to an icy death in the depths of the pond, referred to locally as a bottomless pit. Is the carriage doomed to reenact its last fatal journey again and again?
The story goes that horse and wagon went into there many years ago. They talk about it being bottomless. It does drop away very fast from the side, so it's not a place that you would actually play in. The fishermen that have stayed all night have seen all sorts of things down there.
The Old Bridge Inn, a pub behind me where things are definitely happening. There used to be a dyke run across the front of the pub where it's rumoured that a 10-year-old boy actually met his death. Could it be the little boy that's actually haunting the pub? Or could it be one of the other ghosts that are said to walk around here?
During the pub's history, there has been 2 deaths actually on the property itself and 1 death towards the farm at the back of it. 2 of these deaths were suicide, and the other death was a young lad whose father was in the ale house at the time having a drink. He died in a dyke that used to be in the front of the property.
The Royal British Legion was once a former chapel. During the war it was also used to house the local school children and evacuees that were brought in. So why would something want to haunt a former chapel? Or does it? Let's wait and see.